Hi ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It is Wednesday evening, it's 8:15, it's a late one tonight. It's been a bit of a weird day for me, it's a bit of a whirlwind, you could say. If you've been watching the channel all week and you've been keeping up with myself on here, you'll know that I'm away on my holidays tomorrow. I'm away to Poland, I'm visiting Krakow, so this is the night before. And it's been a bit of a frantic, you know what it's like the day before you go on holiday, making sure you've got everything, last minute shopping, out getting a haircut, all that stuff. So it's been a little bit of a task to sit down today and actually prepare a video in the fashion that I normally would. But I didn't want to let you down. I wanted to create some form of content for you all to enjoy before I head away. And you know what, I've been considering this. I might still get a video out tomorrow because I don't fly away till 4 o'clock, but I need to be at Edinburgh Airport for 2 o'clock. So we'll see what can happen. I'm hoping that we can do something on the channel tomorrow. But if not, you'll know why. I'm away for a few days and I'll be back on Sunday to return to the regular scheduled programming. But if anything huge happens, don't worry, I have my phone and I'll keep you updated and I'll make sure to check in. You know, if Jota decides to sign... It would just be like the thing though, wouldn't it? Like, yeah, I've been waiting here for weeks, just sitting, waiting patiently in my room every single night for the announcement of Jota, and then suddenly, the minute I piss off to Poland, that's when the news will drop. Watch it. I bet you a tenner it happens. Anyway, hello and welcome back to the channel. 108 live viewers at this moment in time. Good evening, everybody. I'm glad to see you. It's been a really busy 24 hours from Celtic, for Celtic. And from my point of view, I've not had the chance to catch it up yet, so I'm here with all of you this evening. Nice to see everybody. Thank you very much, Chris. Chris Martin of Coldplay in the chat. You love to see it. Who do you think we'll get if we don't get Jota? Says a Scotsman in Asia. Well, that's a completely different conversation. We'll save the Q&A for the end. I'm going to get you guys involved as always. But let's start off with the main bits of news that we have to cover that we haven't spoke about yet in this channel. And I guess the first one is Celtic's third permanent signing of the summer transfer window. We signed Dyson Maeda, we signed Cameron Carter-Vickers, and for the third permanent signing of the window, Celtic last night announced the signing of Benjamin Siegrist on a free transfer from Dundee United upon his expiry of contract. A brilliant signing for Celtic. I'm very happy with the business. And look, we've spoke about him already a couple of times in this channel. I think once was on a live stream sort of similar to this. I think it's a really smart piece of business for Celtic. I don't think there's any risks attached. And I know there is a few people who have their reservations about how he might be not as good with the ball at his feet, or he's just taking a spot for a younger guy like Toby Oluwayemi who could come up through the system. But I think when you're looking at someone like him who has been sitting there with the opportunity to sign on a free contract, who's better than Scott Bain, who's better than Vasilis Barkas, and is going to be better than the likes of Toby Oluwayemi at this point in time, why would you not go and explore that option? He was outside of probably the top keepers in this league, Joe Hart, Craig Gordon. I think he was the best keeper in this league. Obviously, there's Alan McGregor in there as well, but we'll leave him for another day. I think he's the best keeper in this league. At Dundee United, he was fantastic. He had a really couple of strong seasons with them over in Tannadice. So I think it's smart business. I really do think it is, and I'm really welcoming of him. I'm really excited to see what he'll do in his very probably limited time of playing for Celtic. I don't imagine he'll see too much first-team football, but we'll probably see him play in those sort of cup games. Maybe some other games when Joe Hart has been a little bit used and abused. But it's a smart piece of business from Celtic. Ultimately, I'm happy with it. I mean, here's a point. Wazza Fortunes in the chat. He says Siegrist could become #1, I reckon. Now, you know, Ryan McGinley of the Celtic the Thunder podcast, our podcast, of course, who we'll come to in a moment, by the way. He had made an interesting point on Twitter. You know, who's to say he can't challenge Joe Hart for that starting position? Now, I don't think he will, not this season anyway. But moving forward, we have a very talented goalkeeper. We have a very talented shot stopper. There is nothing to suggest he can't step in between the sticks and take the jersey of Joe Hart. Now, I'm a Joe Hart stan, as we all know. We can see him topless in the background of my videos. But, you know, there's nothing to say that Siegrist can't become #1 one day and at Celtic with a few good performances. Look, we got to a point where Scott Bain was our starting goalkeeper for a stretch of time. If he can do it, anybody can do it. So, yeah, I think it's a fantastic piece of business. And let's hear from the man himself. Us at the Celtic the Thunder, we had the courtesy The courtesy? The courtesy. No such thing as the courtesy. We had the courtesy today to be invited to the first fan media press conference of the season. As I said, I've been busy all day. It's been hectic. I never managed to make it along personally. However, the man himself, Ryan McGinley, managed to rise to the occasion. He managed to go along and speak to Benjamin Siegrist on his arrival to Celtic. So let's tune in now to Ryan McGinley speaking to Benjamin Siegrist. He asked a couple of questions. We've got about a minute long footage here, so sit back and enjoy it, and we'll recap on what the new signing has said.
Hi Ben, welcome to Celtic. So a lot of Celtic's attacks last season started from quick distribution from our goalkeeper. How much are you looking forward to playing under this new style under Ange Postecoglou?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, my view on it is I always try to get the ball to the best players as quickly as possible. So to release the ball early to start a counter attack is certainly going to be good. I look forward to it. And like I said, we need the ball with our front players so we can score as quickly as we can. So I look forward to that.
Yep. And with your last Swiss cap coming for the under-21s in 2013, do you think that your move to Celtic can potentially result in senior caps for the Switzerland national team?
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. I think I'll leave that up to the people who decide that. But certainly Celtic is a huge club. It's a great honour to be here. So that's a decision someone else has to make.
So there we go. A bit of a delayed reaction from me then. I was waiting for the clip to actually end. There we go. There was Benjamin Siegrist speaking to Ryan McGinley and the rest of the fan media representatives there today. A very good speaker. I managed to tune in and listen to all of it, the file that was sent over, and he seems like a guy who is someone who is ready. He's eager. He's willing to come in and do his absolute best here. And I think he'll know the challenges ahead of him. So I'm excited to see what happens. I spoke, interestingly enough, Ryan asked the question of his aspirations to become the Swiss goalkeeper, or be involved at least with the senior team, with the Swiss international side. And I think he knows himself that's a tough ask, and that's going to be really tough for him to achieve at Celtic. I think that there's always got to be that aspiration, and there's always got to be goals that he will set himself. But I think he knows that for now that will be tough. Switzerland #1 are a very talented nation. They've got a lot of good players. Of course, Albion Ayeti being one of them. But no, in seriousness, they've got a very strong side, a very decent side, some good goalkeepers. And of course, at Celtic, he'll probably be in the understanding that he's probably not going to get a lot of time to showcase the ability to maybe get into that Switzerland setup. But I think that's always the goal that he'll have in front of him, or one of his goals that he'll have in front of him. But ultimately, I think the main one right now will be to try and work his way into this Celtic team, to try and budge Joe Hart out of his place. So it'll be interesting. I'm really excited that we've signed him. I thought it was a really smart piece of business. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say on Benjamin Siegrist. Let's get into that, and I'm seeing a lot of comments flying. Let me know your thoughts. My nose is itching, by the way. We've got Lewis saying he believes that Siegrist is a better shot stopper than Joe Hart. Wow, strong opinion, but Lewis making his thoughts perfectly clear. A bit random, but I find he speaks really well. He did very good English, but also just very good to listen to. He was a really intelligent player to listen to speak when I listened. But I wish I was there myself today. But of course, we got Ryan along there. Ryan McGinley, who is in the chat, by the way. Hello, Ryan. Feel free to stick along and get your questions in or whatnot. Hope he actually gets a chance as well, that it doesn't turn out to be another Zaluska, Mark Brown, etc. Well, of course, we have signed keepers from Dundee United in the past. And, I remember when Zaluska signed, for example, I was buzzing. I absolutely loved Lucas Zaluska. He was one of my favourite players in the league outside of Celtic, mostly because Artur Boric was my favourite player, and this was another Polish goalkeeper in the league. So I was very, very excited for him, and then he obviously just came into Celtic and done nothing, basically. So hopefully it does kind of work out for Siegrist, I think, for the sake of his career. Anybody else got any thoughts on Siegrist? And we'll get those out. No, I think... listen, this is... a very good observation here, and I've never actually spoken about this on the channel. Kean says, you seem to love goalies. Do you play in goals yourself? Not now. Not nowadays. I'm awful. When I was younger all the time, I used to love being a goalkeeper. I used to spend so much money on like the professional finger save gloves. And when I was young, my favourite players, I remember, were Shea Given, Artur Boric, Edwin van der Sar. When I was growing up, they were my three favourite players, and Wayne Rooney, but... He was at another level, but those three guys were always my favourites, and now I always feel a real connection with the goalkeepers like Joe Hart. I love him, sorry, and I don't know. I always seem to take a liking to goalkeepers. I always wanted to be one. I found this is very off topic. It's a very live streamy type thing to get into these rabbit holes. But I found a sheet we made in primary 4. We made these sheets and it was like our 10 dreams in life or our 10 favourite things in life. And mine was like, I want to be a goalkeeper for Celtic and Manchester United. I cannot play in goals anymore. No, I'm awful now. All the ability that I once had as a child is gone. But yes, interesting. Right, okay. Let's get into talk about the next story. A couple of things. Of course, we're waiting on Celtic to make their next signing patiently, whether it be Jota or whether it be this guy. Will it, of course, be Bernabé, the man who we're waiting on from Argentina? This was put up yesterday. This alongside another few pieces of information, which all but confirms the signing, I would suggest, of Alexandro Bernabé, or Bernabé. If you see it there, the translation is below, don't worry. El lateral izquierdo, Alexandro Bernabé, saludo a todos en el... I'm joking, I'm not going to go any further. But left back Alexandro Bernabé greeted everyone in the Lannis locker room after today's training. He travels to Scotland to join Celtic in the next few hours. This was last night, so of course I don't know how far along the line talks or such will be. Video of intimacy shared by Monsieur Vasily Bogdanov. Video of intimacy. I'm not a fan of that translation. The translation, yes, video of intimacy, but on the right hand side, I can't actually press play. But on the right hand side was a video of him, what it looks to be wishing farewell to his teammates and to his friends at Lanús. And I think there was another few things. I think there was some Instagram posts and everything else, which indicates he's on his way out the door. I don't know what the situation is, of course, with travelling to Scotland, signing for Celtic, how far we are in with talks. Still a long way to go, I'd imagine, until we get an announcement, but hopefully it'll be as soon as possible. But it's just even more sort of news that kind of confirms he will be joining Celtic. The video, yes, exactly, Frank. Video of intimacy. Take that with a pinch of salt. Yeah, it was pictured at an airport. Was pictured at the airport earlier. I've not seen anything. I've been off Twitter all day avoiding Obi-Wan Kenobi spoilers. I've seen it now, but I've been off Twitter all day. But it's nice to see that. I think that's just even more of a confirmation that we'll be seeing him come to Celtic, because another bit of news that I had to talk about, and I've not got a graphic for this one, but you remember yesterday, my video we done discussing Josip Juranovic, and we were discussing the other lad who was maybe, his name has just slipped off the top of my head now. Oh, the boy that plays for Guimarães in Portugal. I forgot his name. It's literally just fell out my head. If somebody got it in the chat for me, his name is just literally came away from my head. I don't have my notes up. But anyway, you remember that video? We were discussing him, and we were talking about the prospect of him joining Celtic and how there was reports. Semedo, thank you very much, Matthew Duff. Thank you. You're a legend. You're a hero. But we were obviously talking about Semedo. We were discussing him perhaps moving to Celtic. There was reports in Portugal which said that it was done. He was going to be moving to Celtic. It was confirmed, all the rest of it. And I did say in that video, we've heard that thousands of times this transfer window already. We've already heard it umpteen times with certain players. They'll be signing this week. The contract's done. The ink's dried. And now suddenly, less than 24 hours later, it looks as though that we've had a full 180 degrees turn, and Semedo will not be joining Celtic. He's not coming. It's been rubbished. It's apparently nonsense. And I don't know if it's been one of these stories that's been shared by an agent to gather interest, or it's just been started by a mistake or whatnot, but apparently it is not happening. Semedo will not be joining Celtic. Apparently Celtic were never in for Semedo, according to the news story. So as I said in that video yesterday, it is pinch of salt stuff, and it is also, of course, you know, I kind of, it's just a reminder of how all these things can go. However, when you see all this stuff, like the likes of Bernabé, it would suggest that I think that we've got a little bit more to kind of get our hopes up for. And I'm looking forward to see what happens. Of course, he was sent off for that headbutt in his last game over in Argentina. So, you know, of course, people say Semedo was pish, not good enough for Celtic. Wow, that's strong from Chris. And yes, I would agree with you, Sean. It probably has been agent talk or whatnot. Yeah, so I feel like that's me covered all of the news that I need to. I think this is where you guys take the floor now. You can get your questions in. Basically, to recap on this Wednesday night, Benjamin Siegrist signs for Celtic. We've, of course, listened to him speak to Ryan McGinley earlier on in the video. If you've missed that, don't worry. It will be up for you to watch later on as part of this. I've obviously spoke about Bernabé. It looks as though he's on his way to Glasgow. It looks as though he will be joining Celtic very soon. And we've spoke about the fact that Semedo will not be joining Celtic. That has been rubbished. So that's all the main news that I feel like we need to talk about. But let's get your questions in, and let's have you guys dictate the last 5 or 10 minutes of the live stream this Wednesday night. Liam is asking, will Bernabei be banned before playing here, or do you think it's held off until the ban is sat with his old team? I can only say I don't know. I honestly don't. It could work in any way. I remember it was Charlie Mulgrew, I think, who had a suspension that carried over into some competition or something years ago. I think there has to be talks and discussions or something to see if he serves that suspension. But I honestly have as much a clue as you, Liam. I think that we'll just have to wait and see, because it's all very well and good me sitting here going, oh, they might do this, but then they might not. It might go the complete opposite way, so I'm not entirely sure. Wonder if some team, not naming names, will be looking for the SFA to make sure Bernabei is suspended for the first few league games. Wouldn't be surprised. How important will David Turnbull be for this next season? Well, it doesn't matter because he's away to West Ham, isn't he? So, David Turnbull to West Ham, lads. No, but Turnbull's got a massive part to play, Mark. I think that Turnbull could be huge for this next season. I mean, you look at the quality that he brought to the Celtic side in such limited bursts this season. When you looked at the amount of time that he got over the course of the complete campaign, he still had a massive impact and a massive influence on goals and assists and such. So it'd be good to see him hopefully get a full fit season under Ange, and I think he's got a massive part to play with the likes of Rogic leaving the club. Jota update, Ryan, says Alistair. Once again, Alistair, I know as much as you, but I'm telling you right now, it'll be announced when I'm flying to Port. I bet it'll happen when I'm on the plane. Tomorrow, I think my flight leaves at 4 PM tomorrow, right? Mark my words. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock, or between 4 and 7, say. He's going to be announced. Watch it. I'm telling you right now. Well, my thoughts on Kenobi, says Sam. Christ, I've been seeing your comment rolling through plenty of times. I better answer it before you explode. Tremendous. What the best finale to a TV show season I've seen in my life. Amazing. Absolutely loved it. Let's see, what other questions is there? Would you sign Martin Boyle to fight with Abada and Forrest for the right-hand side? Feel Ange's still. I'm not going to lie, Ross. I thought we moved past the Martin Boyle stuff. I thought with his move to wherever he went was going to be the end of asking or thinking that he could come to Celtic. But you know what, Ross? He's a good player. He is. He's absolutely a talented guy. But I just don't think he's a Celtic player. And I think there was a point where I thought he could have been. But I think that was when my expectations were rock bottom. I think that he's not good enough to compete with Abada. I don't know. I don't want to be disrespectful. He is a good player, but I'm just thinking, I think we've moved on past that. If I was to come back here, I'd fully be expecting him to go back to Hibs or a similar level. I really do. What's this? Not sure if you mentioned it, Ryan. Sorry for the off topic, but with the fixtures coming out, the derby isn't on the same weekend as you're on your holidays, is it? I'm in Cardiff. I'm going to have to sort it out. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm in Cardiff. It is good observation. DM McDonald. You listen to me, son. You listen to me. Love it, Sam. Love it. Do you think Moffat will get game time? Nah, I don't. And I'm not saying I don't want him to. If you're asking me the question, if I think he will, I don't. I simply don't. I just don't see it happening for him this season. He got into the team when we had a couple of players injured over the kind of opening phase of last season, and I think that's all it really amounts to at the moment. I just don't see a gateway in for him unless there is a significant improvement. I think he's a talented wee player, don't get me wrong, but I don't have a lot of faith, and that's me just being realistic. I've never watched The Sopranos, actually. Just saying. She ought to be announcing Friday, mark my words, says Lewis. Well, if it's Friday, I'll still be away anyway, so yeah. Let's see, what's this? How do you think Big Ange's team will fare in the Champions League? Buzzing for it already. I'm excited. Make a few more signings and let's make a right good crack of it. We'll talk about that a lot more as the Champions League approaches. I've said this a million times on this channel. That's not a dig at you, David. Don't worry, I don't mind you asking. But I just don't see it happening. I do not think Julian will hold it any more than a bit part player status under Ange Postecoglou. I think he's also dug his own grave with the comments he made to I think it was the French media. He was very outspoken on how he's not happy with the way he's being used and how I don't see it. I don't think he's got the intensity of being an Ange Postecoglou centre half. I think he's lost that with the injury. I just don't think it will happen. Triple signing on Friday, the latest rumour on the old Kerry Dale Street forum. Well, if it was a triple signing on Friday, I'd be raging. I would actually be fuming. Hold it off till Sunday, Just make it Sunday, the Lord's Day. That would be nice. Yeah, Alex in the chat. Hello, Alex. Ryan, I'm joining you from McDonald's car park, scanning some nuggets after work. That is dedication, and I appreciate that. And I hope the chicken nuggets are good and they're not freezing cold. But it's a pleasure as always, Alex. There is a phone coming up the stair. I hope you can't hear that in the background. But how many more signings would I expect after all of this, says Liam? Maybe one or two more I'd like. I'd like another striker for the door. We've been talking about that quite a bit. And maybe like a winger. I don't know. One or two more permanent signings would be nice, I think. And KT rumours to Man United? Surely not. I would love it, but I mean, I don't think so. We'll end the stream on this. Take Mikey Johnson to Poland with you and leave him there, please. If there's a space in the flight, I'll phone him up and see if he's interested. Anyway, that's going to do it for this evening. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. It's been a fun 20 minutes. I hope you have enjoyed. And I will hopefully be with you tomorrow. If not, then I will be back on Sunday because I'm off to Polska. I'm hopefully going to bump into Artur Boric. That would be lovely. But thank you all for the support. I hope you all have a great weekend. If I don't tune into you some point over it,